Second down, 13. 45 of Baltimore. Brunell back in the pocket. Has a bit of time. Now being chased. Plants throws. He's looking downfield. He's got a receiver. And it is caught. Jimmy Smith at the 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Wayne starts for 45 yards.
Barks out for signals. Drops to throw. Has time. Fires the slant. Jimmy's got it this time. 35, 30. Middle of the field. 20. He's going to the 20-yard line. He's going to score. 10, 5. Jimmy Smith. Touchdown. And the Jaguars are right back in this ball game. Barks out the signals. Pressure coming. Steps up. Steps. Turns. Throws. He's got Jimmy. First down, 20. There he goes. 10, 5. Touchdown. Win. Jacksonville. Done under pressure. Steps to avoid. Turns and throws. He's got him in. Caught Jimmy inside the 40-yard line to the 37 and down to the 36.
Congratulations to Jimmy Smith. That is now his 800th career reception, and what a play to get it on.
This team winning right now, it helps bring so much attention to our franchise, what we did back in the day, like we were talking about, these Hall of Fame conversations. But when we're winning, we see the conversations pick up. So we have noticed that. So obviously, I'm pulling for my team to get to this Super Bowl.
XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome into Jaguars Today as we try to shake off the loss and look ahead to the beatdown we're going to lay on the Houston Texans coming in. At least I certainly hope it goes that way. I will definitely take 7-6, Tony, as long as we're the ones with the 7.
No doubt.
Let's get the win. It doesn't have to be pretty. And again, you watch NFL all around the league. We want everything to be perfect, right? And we dwell in the mistakes that the Jags make. And yes, when they win, we tend to gloss over some of it because the end result is what you wanted. But, man, there are a lot of ugly paths to victory in the NFL, right? You think the Dallas Cowboys fans care more about the fact that they gave up 450 yards passing to Russell Wilson or that their man hit a 64-yard game-tying field goal with zeros on the clock and a 46-yard game winner with zeros on the clock in overtime? They got the win.
Yeah, we got some things we got to work out,
Absolutely,
on.
big things.
But you do it with a win. It changes the whole way you see it.
It really does, right? Like, and you can always argue, too, hey, past teams would not have been able to pull out that victory in that circumstance. Well, guess what? This team didn't this week. Doesn't mean they can't going forward. So we'll get into today a couple of categories that the Jags currently lead the National Football League in. Rushing yards on offense and takeaways on defense. But, Tony, one guy who won't be taking the ball away for the Jaguars anymore is Darnell Savage, who played 48 snaps in the first couple of games. So it wasn't like this was a guy who was a game day inactive, but his role was not that significant. The Jaguars released him yesterday. I don't know this for a fact, and we'll see. Liam Cohen's going to speak in about 20 minutes, and maybe he'll address this to some degree. It kind of feels like one where Darnell Savage might have let it be known that, hey, if you're not going to use me, lose me, But, that's the thing with you have a veteran on the roster opening day. He can claim cancellation or termination pay, and the Jags will have to pay him for the rest of the season if he's never done it before.
Yeah, look, he's a guy that we obviously talked about plenty, through the course of the offseason. How sure was his roster spot, right? The Caleb Bransall injury seemed to clear the way for, I don't know how they don't have him on the active roster to begin the year, but apparently they're seeing enough from the other pieces in their secondary right now that they feel comfortable moving on from him in a situation where I thought they were likely wanting to feel comfortable in it. If they had Ransall, it would be a whole lot clearer as to why.
Sure.
But it's obviously a direction. It's not a big surprise that Darnell Savage isn't on the team at any point during this season. Maybe that had happened this quickly after how much he played, especially the first week, but it is what it is.
Jags just announcing, D-Rock had this a few minutes before the official announcement. The Jags have replaced Darnell Savage on the roster, and a lot of people speculated would Cameron Silman Craig, I believe, the Colorado rookie who was on the practice squad, would he get elevated? No. The Jags signed Khalef Halasi off the Minnesota Vikings practice squad. So he's going to have to be on the 53-man roster at least for the next several weeks. Don't know if he'll be active on game day. You would think that the actual defensive snaps that Darnell Savage was taking would be picked up by Antonio Johnson primarily. He did have the ability to play some nickel for you as well. And, this could just be a case of they're getting a little bit healthier. Monteric Brown maybe ready to go, that kind of thing. And they feel like their depth in the secondary is better than it was, at least their active game day depth. And that was another factor, right? Like with Monteric unavailable early in the season, you got a veteran who can play multiple positions for you. And you're right. The Ransaw injury really paved the way for Savage to make this football team. But he's gone now for whatever combination of reasons. We'll see if Liam Cohen addresses that today. And hopefully we'll, in part, we'll hear it's because they really like what they're seeing from Antonio Johnson. Obviously, Eric Murray and Dewey Wingard are playing good football right now.
Yeah.
And both those guys, by the way, those weren't exactly attack the ball, break up the play interceptions, but they're right place at the right time. And when the other guy throws it up for grabs, you got to be able to come down with it. And, basically, Jake Browning's like, here, have this one, here, have this one. Mm-hmm. But, you can argue, hey, the Jags had Dewey. It looked like triple coverage, right? Like, I don't know what Browning was thinking on that play, and he broke off and picked that one off. But either way, the safeties, I think, have played pretty well through the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, and I think there is something to, you see the turnover numbers going up for the football team, obviously. Coming off a season where they had 9, they're already getting the job done, right, with 6 here through the first 2 weeks of the season. So that kind of thing is happening. And I think what you really see is, I know Josh Hines-Allen hadn't showed up in the stat numbers yet, but he's all over the quarterbacks every week. And Trayvon Walker's doing the same thing on the other side. And this week they got a little bit of push from the middle, and that's what we've been saying all up. If they get any kind of push in the middle, they'll be fine in regard to a lot of these things. Well, for a week they did. We'll see if they're able to do that again. They should have an advantage in that kind of area against Houston for the second week in a row, very similar to what advantage they had against the Bengals last week. The offensive line just isn't very good for Houston. It wasn't very good for the Bengals, and the Jaguars made that apparent while they were playing the game. They just dropped the touchdown and all the other reasons why they wound up losing that game.
Yeah, today I want to more look ahead than anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's what's done is done with the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll try to match up the Jags and the Houston Texans a little bit today. But I mentioned the rushing attack and the turnovers created, 2 of the stats the Jags currently lead the National Football League in. Well, today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day simply asks you, if the Jags could lead the NFL in one of those categories for the entire season, which one would lead to more victories? In other words, you can choose as of today. You're currently leading both. Hey, you know what? Maintain them both. That'd be fantastic, right? But if you could pick one that's going to steadily be there at the top of the league, rushing offense, defensive takeaways, which one would you choose for the Jaguars trying to win as many games as they possibly can in 2025? So you can hit us up with your thoughts on that if you'd like. We're going to hear from Bajal Tootin a little bit this morning. John Oeser in hour number 2. Dylan Denmark is here from what the rumors hold. Denmark, good morning.
Good morning. You see the breaking news this morning?
What do we got?
Cardi B is pregnant with Stephon Diggs' baby.
Oh, is she now?
Yeah, that's what TMZ is reporting.
Well, I know they were hanging out, right?
They were. at
some point, did I see them on a boat? At some point?
Yeah, that was in the summer.
Was it? Okay.
June, July.
I mean, hey, look, man, that's good that I even know who Cardi B is. Come on, who are we kidding, right? I mean, I'm not the most up-to-the-moment pop culture savvy guy in the world, but that's big news in the Denmark household, at least. The news for the Jags, we knew that Darnell Savage was out yesterday, but I hope I'm getting this right. Khalef Halassi of the Minnesota Vikings practice squad picked up. He'll be the replacement for the Jaguars, at least for now, on the 53. Doesn't mean he'll be necessarily active on game day, but we'll talk about all the different permutations coming out of that. Rushing offense versus a takeaway-prone defense. Which one is better for the success of the Jags in 2025? Let's discuss that today on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. If you want to get in at 641-1010, same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can watch us in the YouTube virtual studio and chat it away there and post questions and thoughts, or you can stream us on Twitter and Facebook. Find us out there on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
All right, we are off and rolling. This is Jaguars Today. Johnny O in hour number 2. Keep it right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Hey Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Looking for a brand new truck? Right now, Crew Cab Ram trucks start at just $38,900 at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram West Side. And every new retail purchase comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty and no extra cost. From tough Ram trucks to adventure-ready Jeeps, they've got the perfect ride waiting for you. Stop by Commonwealth Avenue or shop online at jackswest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram West Side, proud partner of the Jaguars.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday.
On Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we got to bring my thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
La playa is Spanish for the beach. If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, La Playa awaits.
All right, Prosser here, and I've been telling you about Chad and Sandy. They make the promise. Let me show you some of the proof. This is Nicoletta and Daniel in Panther Creek. We don't recommend this, but we bought our new house before we sold our old one. Then worst case scenario happened. Our old home failed to sell in a year with another realtor. Finally, we got smart. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they sold it in 10 days above asking price. These are the results you're getting with Chad and Sandy at chadandsandy.com. Area homes are selling, but you got to have the right people on your side. Maybe you want max price. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. Maybe you just want to sell right now. Well, fast, easy, and stress-free, that's what Chad and Sandy bring to you. They have this guarantee. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. They're the local real estate experts you can trust for all of your real estate needs. Go to chadandsandy.com today. That's chadandsandy.com, or call that help hotline, 904-414-6200.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Chip Davis, director of the Flounder Pounder Fishing Tournament. We are fast approaching our 16th annual tournament benefiting the Jacksonville School for Autism. With the help of our amazing community, we raised over $1.4 million the last 15 years. This year's tournament will be held at Palm Valley Outdoors on the Intercoastal Waterway. Captain's meeting is Thursday night, October 9th, and the tournament is Saturday, October 11th. I'm inviting you and your family to come out and enjoy our tournament festivities, raise some money, and support autism awareness. Special thanks to U.S. Army Recruitment Jacks for their support. Flounder Pounder for Autism 2025. See you there.
Tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now with the big BOGO event. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires September 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I think anecdotally, you can go back, Tony, over the last few years and probably do this and get similar results on either side. But I just wanted to look to kind of set a baseline just based on 2024 on the teams that led the league in turnovers, teams that led the league in rushing, right? Top 10 at each. How many were playoff squads? Which one won out, do you think? The turnover leaders or the rushing leaders? It's very close.
Turnover?
Yeah, 8 out of 10 turnover leaders. 7 out of 10 rushing leaders made the playoffs. The Colts were top 10 in each.
Oh, no.
And didn't make the postseason. Now,
is that why they're 2-0?
I will say, though, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of carries over a little bit. And some of the numbers get skewed when you have rushing quarterbacks a little bit in there as well. Like, Arizona was top 10 in rushing yards last year. They don't strike me as a top 10 rushing team, but when you factor in what the quarterback does on top of that, but all the teams that finished in the top 10 of one of the categories that didn't make the playoffs had at least 8 wins. So it's a pretty telling stat, either one you look at, right? And it is surprising, man, that you could have the one team be top 10 in rushing, top 10 in turnovers created, and not make the postseason, especially playing in the AFC South, right? You figure there were some low-hanging fruit games for the Colts last year.
Where'd they rank in turnovers committed?
I don't know. I don't have that. Well, I probably could find that quickly here.
Like when you're trying to look for the reasons why maybe they weren't a playoff team with those kind of numbers.
Here we go. Turnovers committed, third in the league.
Yeah.
There you go. Tennessee and Cleveland topped the list with 34. Colts and the Raiders each turned it over 29 times. Yeah, that might be the stickier stat, right? Jags were 9th with 24 offensive turnovers last year. Most of the teams in the top 10. Tampa Bay was 10. They made the postseason. Did Seattle make the playoffs last year?
I think, or did they just miss?
I think they might have just missed because you had both Washington and Philly in the East, right? You had both the Vikings and the Lions. Did the Packers make it last year? I want to say they did.
I think the Packers did.
The Packers did.
So San Fran didn't, right? I think it was only the Rams
San Fran
out of the
lost.
West.
Seattle was out.
Yeah,
10 and 7,
only the Rams out of the West, right? I was thinking, did they get 2 teams in? But nevertheless, they're both pretty telling stats. So which one would you prefer for your Jags? I mean, history might tell you one versus the other, but this is more kind of a feel thing. Like, what do you prefer your team to be built around? If you want to get in today, 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. Let's start with Larry on the south side. Larry, good morning. You're on Jaguars Today. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up?
All right, so this is like one of the best questions because, like, if you win the turnover battle, 9 times out of 10 you're going to win the game. But at the same time, if you're killing it in rushing yards, that means you're usually in the lead, and you're taking time off the clock to preserve that lead. And our rushing yards have been fantastic. So I really love the turnover battle win, but I got to go with rushing yards.
Rushing yards. Yeah, they have led the league, obviously in both so far through 2 weeks. It's interesting, right? Because I think you bring up a good point, Larry, that it's not just the yards that you're running for that you're kind of like, hey, we're moving down the field, we're picking up first downs, we're generating offense. It's what it represents when you're leading that league in rushing. You're probably winning the game in the second half of a lot of games, right? You throw to score, you run to win. That's one of those NFL adages, Tone. And it would seem like that would correlate pretty highly. Again, last year, 8 of the top 10 creating turnovers made the playoffs. Only 7 of the top 10 rushing teams made the playoffs. And again, that's a 1-year sample. Somebody asked Grok. Have you ever asked Grok for anything on the X platform?
Every now and then, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Dylan, are you a Grok guy?
No.
An AI, I've never asked an AI for anything in my life.
Like every now and then, if I'm having a discussion with friends or something, as opposed to going to Google, I couldn't just open it's the same kind of thing.
It is, I guess, the same kind of thing, right? Cobalt Blue, between 2015 and 2020, an analysis showed that turnover differential had a higher correlation to winning than rushing yards. And, yes, that may be the fact. First of all, we're not playing in that era, and that's a 5 or 6 year sample. And I don't know how some of this, they're talking about R squared value. I don't even know what the hell that means. I don't know what that means. And so I can't tell you that this number is that much bigger than the other number. How significant is that? I have no idea, quite frankly. But, what's the raw data tell you on and just on a 1 year sample, it's 80% to 70%. But again, that's a 1 year sample. And I think circumstances in any given year can change that. Anyway, Larry, thanks for getting us started. We got Will in Interlochen next up here on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Will.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was just going back to the game. I kind of questioned myself. I didn't realize they weren't playing Devin Lloyd very much prior to that. I didn't notice him even in the game in Carolina prior to that interception he had last game. And then, BTJ continues those drops. I mean, do we pull him and put someone else in? Because I think any other receiver could make those catches.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's a great question going forward as far as Brian Thomas Jr. How do you hold him accountable? You know he's talented, right? But he's got to produce that way. If he keeps putting out performances like that, well, then, he's going to find himself on the bench. Tony, I think right now you got to do everything you possibly can if you're Liam Cohen and this offensive coaching staff to try to rehabilitate Brian Thomas Jr. mentally or whatever it is. I'm not his psychoanalyst, right? But something's off, right? And I don't know what that is with him. And maybe it's just a slump. Maybe it's not. Maybe he does feel a certain way about the attention Travis Hunter's gotten or feels a certain way about the ball placement that Trevor Lawrence delivers to him. Or maybe he doesn't like the routes he's being asked to run that are let him into more traffic this year. I'm not sure what it is, but that conversation, I'm sure it's going to be fascinating to see what Liam Cohen says about that because he's speaking right about now. I think he's scheduled to talk. That's got to be one of the first things he's asked today.
No doubt. It was certainly one of the first things he was asked on Monday, the last time that he went to the podium.
And said he had to have that conversation still.
And trying to put myself in the mindset of a head coach in this kind of situation, right? Like just playing head coach in my mind. And again, we'll hear from Cohen and whatever he's going to have to say about it. And his is the word that matters, in this regard. But I think it's fair to think that you might have to have some line that if this continues to look this way for, I don't even know what kind of time period you'd put on it, given the expectations that everyone, including the people in the building, I'm sure, have for Brian Thomas Jr. and the kind of player that he's already shown himself to be in his rookie year and that you expect him to get better in year two, not worse. You expect him to get better. So how long do we just say, look, we trust you? Right, we're coming to you. You're our guy. Like, how long is that the conversation until it becomes, we got to think about doing something else? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't expect, if I was in this situation, I don't think I'd be all that close to that at this point, but it would be in my head.
What if the first ball is a similar thing? What if, Trevor throws it, Brian Thomas Jr. seems to shy away from contact on the, I don't know if it's going to be that way. I would think Brian Thomas would want to come out and he's got pride. All these guys have tremendous pride or ego to make it to this level, to have the belief that you can play at this level. You've got to have that already. And he's got the talent to back it up.
Yeah. Well, what you really don't want to see is if you have a bunch of plays that you've designed in such a way that Brian is the guy that we want to get the ball to in this situation. You don't want when that play gets in the huddle that you have the quarterback going,
right, or thinking twice about like that split second hesitation is all it takes to blow up a play, right? All right, so Brian has got some tight coverage. Now, Trevor's not been afraid to throw it to him in tight coverage, right? Like the very first play of the season.
That has not been a factor to this point in the year. If it continues to happen the way it is happening, there's at least a risk that it becomes a factor, and then you are going to have to potentially make some tough decisions. Honestly, we all know what we want the outcome to be. Cut it out. Play better.
Just play like you did last year.
Right. Like we all have expectations for you. And with the Devin Lloyd part of the question there, he played almost 70% of the snaps this week.
Yeah, he played only 34% in week one.
Right. So they obviously wanted to get him on the field more this week than he was in week one, and he had the big play to pay it off.
And compare that to Ventrell Miller. Week one, between the two of them, they only played about 60% of the snaps, right? Between both of them out there. And so you were going with a lot of three safety look in that game. Yeah. You had Devin played 34%, Ventrell played 25%. In week two, Devin Lloyd's snap share went up to 70%, and Ventrell's fell to 14%. So 48-10. That's a huge difference in the amount of time that they're out there. But look, Devin Lloyd graded out once again spectacularly at PFF. And they've always liked Devin Lloyd there.
Yeah.
I'm not against Devin Lloyd.
No.
Let's go make a bunch of big plays, man. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like Devin Lloyd has been a victim of his own athletic potential, right? In that we have a certain expectation. The Jags gave up multiple picks to move back up into the first round and take him. And there's been that tantalizing element of, can you utilize him as a little bit of a pass rusher, which they've never really done on a regular basis here. Everybody gets blitzed occasionally, but nothing out of the ordinary for Devin Lloyd. And it's been coverage lapses. That's why it was so nice to see him make that big play in coverage as opposed to just blowing up a ball carrier. Make a break on the ball. That was one that Browning didn't just serve up to you, right? And I don't know if that ball was late to the receiver or not. Things happen so quick in the NFL, right? I'm watching that replay, and I'm like, is that ball going to be 3 feet behind the receiver that was crossing anyway, or was it going to get there in that tiny split second? And it might have been well timed, but it was greatly timed by Devin Lloyd in that case. But, Darnell Savage, who they just released, played 44% of the snaps in week 1, down to 20% this week. 29%. He played 20 snaps this week. Antonio Johnson basically hasn't played. It's crazy how little he has gotten on the field on defense other than special teams. So that's got to change in a hurry. That's why you look at it, Tone. It's not like Antonio Johnson has been playing like an equivalent amount of snaps as Darnell Savage, and he's flashing. That's why I'm very curious to hear what Liam Cohen says about a number of issues today. We'll try to turn some of that audio around quickly as he's at the podium right now for you. So we'll get that out to you coming up. If you want to get in and continue the conversation, 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. We'll get right back to your calls coming up on the other side. Better to have for the Jags in 25, the league's leading rushing offense or the number 1 defense when it comes to takeaways, turnovers created? That's our debate today. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Got them in my house. That's the highest recommendation I can give you, that I use a product myself, and I try to use all the products that I endorse here on Jaguars Today. But I needed to replace my windows and did that with my entire house, including the sliding glass door with Pella, and I couldn't be happier. My home is more energy efficient. It looks fantastic. You can have the same experience. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. And right now, you can get 0% financing for up to 72 months. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Cancer Center offers on-site imaging and other diagnostic services. Early detection saves lives. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
I love my propane company. They always answer when I call and give me great prices and fast service. Said no one ever.
Until now. Need propane for your home or business? Seabreeze Propane is bringing the propane as North Florida's new local propane provider. Visit SeabreezeLP.com. Seabreeze Propane. We make propane cool, brother. Oh, yeah.
Watch football this season in downtown Duval at Pour Tap Room Jacksonville. 2 floors, 15 TVs, a giant projector, 80 self-pour taps of ice-cold craft beer, wine and cocktails, plus a full bar, wings, burgers, and more, and pizza delivered to your table from Pizza Dynamo. Downtown at Laura and Forsyth. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville. A beer festival every day.
If golf is your thing, you'll want to check out Hidden Hills Golf Club. At Hidden Hills, we simply love the game, and we take great care of our golfing friends. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. We look forward to seeing you at the club.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CAR Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Frank Frangie here, telling you about my daughter Amber's journey with Awaken 180. She's lost 60 pounds. Can you believe that? And she just took a road trip. The reason is it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. Call 844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Bud Light and everyone at Anheuser-Busch want to remind you to get home safely every time. People are counting on you on the road and at home. Plan ahead with safe rides and don't forget to hydrate between beers. Bud Light encourages everyone to enjoy responsibly and socialize safely.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Get ready for the 4th annual Sizzlin' Soiree, presented by Dunkin' Donuts, October 2nd at the Fountain of Youth in St. Aug. Enjoy barbecue, live music, auctions, and surprises while supporting kids' safe spaces and life-changing programs. Get tickets at bgcnf.org.
I know you love sports, so why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, we'll bring you some of the audio coming up when we can get it turned around here as Liam Cohen gets ready to wrap up. But he said he had some good conversations. Multiple, plural, I don't know. But read it. He's talked to Brian Thomas Jr. And he says everyone was frustrated after the loss, that Brian Thomas was no exception with that. And it's time for him to bounce back this week. And, you know, what do you expect him to get up there and go, Brian told me if Trevor would just hit that pass a little quicker, I wouldn't have to run into those two guys. Hey, no, he's not going to say that. I did find it interesting, Gerald Ingram on with XL Primetime yesterday, Tony, because Tom McManus has talked about on that play, the one that led to the interception with the BTJ kind of pulling up, tipping the ball, that he feels like, and if you watch Yell 22 from behind, there's an opportunity that Brian Thomas comes into the play on the right third of the screen, right? And he's open right there, but we don't know what the play is calling for, right? But Gerald Ingram made the point. He goes, look, if you want the ball there, you got to open your body up, and I'm paraphrasing here, but open your body up to the quarterback and flatten. When he can see your number on the front of your jersey, he knows you're kind of sitting down like, hey, this is my spot. I'm not going to continue on. If he sees your shoulder, he's going to lead you with that ball. And so, I could it have been a little bit better delivered? Probably so. But, I mean, again, in the end, even if you can put some blame on Trevor for putting him in a little risk, you still got to go in there and make that play, or at least attempt to make that play.
Yeah. It's the not attempting, and that later in the game you saw it again, and then the drop on the last hit. Like it's the combination of all those things, right? It creates a pretty full picture of what you got from Brian Thomas Jr. And as we said on Monday when we came in here, We spent the whole offseason saying he's the best player on the whole roster.
Yes, and I think talent-wise, he's still right there.
Right.
Performance-wise, it obviously hasn't been there yet.
Right. So the head coach did what I think he should do at this point in this process. I don't know how much is in his mind at what point do we have to do something. Right? Like, I'm not saying that it's impossible that that's in there somewhere, but I don't want him sharing that publicly yet.
No, right. You got to prop up Brian Thomas Jr. 100,000%.
Right. You don't talk about it until you have to do it, and they're not at a point where they feel like they have to do it yet, and that's fair.
It's easy for us to sit here and go, oh, that's a job. You got to be tough. You got to, man, all right. Look, two guys bearing down on you over the middle, it's still a daunting prospect, okay? The one that's more glaring to me is the one in the end zone.
Yeah.
There's one guy, like, he's behind you. He's not, like, loading up to blow you up, and you kind of throw a hand up and duck your head, just like, what in the hell was that?
Yeah.
That's
and you're in a
the
part
one.
of the field where like 3rd and 6, you run a route over the middle of the field. The defense has the advantages. Like, in that moment, the defense has the advantages. They've earned it. They've put you in that situation on that series. So you're going to pay the price. Like, generally speaking, to do that. You get down, goal line, red zone, everything is tighter. Right? Like, you're not going to have a whole lot of throws where you're running to open space. That's just not the nature of the game. If you're running over in that part of the field, you're going to take a shot. That's what's going to happen. In the National Football League, especially with the athletes that they have on the field. He has to know that. I know he knows it.
I don't even know if he was going to take a shot on that play, though. That's kind of the point.
Right. It's part of the game. And if you have a wide receiver that is as talented as Brian is, you can't have him just saying, nope. Like, that can't be something that continues.
All right, back out to the lines we go on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. David in Green Cove Springs is next up on Jaguars Today. Good morning, David.
Hey, guys. The play at the end of the game, I definitely feel that Brian Thomas Jr. is peaking because you can see it. He turns his head on the play before the ball arrives. So I think he's expecting hits, and that's his problem right now. He's gun shy. But in addition to that, there's a lot of controversy about should we have gone for the 6, gone for the 3. I wanted to ask you guys your opinion about what Tampa did. And you don't see a lot of teams doing it, but I've been calling it for years, where in certain situations you allow a team to score because at that time in the game, the clock is more your enemy than the score is. And if we take the 3, allow them to get the ball down by 6, we know they're going to go for 7. I would be allowing them to run enough time off the clock to let it get down to about 2 minutes or so, and then allow them to score on purpose so you can get the ball back with your fantastic kicker that you have, and you still have your 2 timeouts left. So what's your opinion on making that play? And I like the defense for
over the run game.
You take the turnovers over the rushing. Got it. All right.
I think they would have. Right, without the false start, I think they were prepared to let him score so that they'd have a little bit of time to try to make something happen.
If you're on the 1, yes.
Yeah.
If they're on the 10, no.
Yeah.
Right, because you still are playing for overtime. Field goal, if a field goal beats you, then you need. And this has been the case forever.
Yeah.
But it took analytics to come into play to give NFL coaches cover to understand that what mathematically makes sense didn't always go along with the He-Man. We don't let anybody have anything, and we're going to stop them. We're going to play great defense, and you're going to lose, okay, because they're going to kick a chip shot field goal and beat you. And so if it's a circumstance where the field goal can beat you, yes, 100%. Let them score. Or
and they're probably not
don't
trying
stand
to score.
in their way.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe they are, maybe they're not. It
right.
depends
Like in that
on
situation, if I'm the Bengals and a field goal wins it, I'm taking knees. Like if I'm on the other side.
If a field goal wins it.
If a field goal wins
Correct.
it. But the field goal didn't win it. The field goal tied. And I think before the false start on the first down, that Jacksonville was going to let them score.
Yes.
And then when they got pushed back to the 5, they were like, play defense.
Right. And I would agree with that. By the way, to me, there's no controversy over the touchdown versus field goal.
Me either.
Going for it was the right call. In my opinion, 100%. Kick the field goal. You're kicking off.
Yep.
They're going to start probably around the 30, 35-yard line, being way backed up around the 10, and they're still going to be able to beat you with a touchdown. Yeah. And now you have the added disadvantage of they're going to go for it on every 4th down, right? Like, and I guess you're going to go for it on fourth down anyway, right? But if you are down by 3 and it's 4th and 5, you're going to kick the field goal if you're in field goal range to tie it. Whereas in that circumstance, you're putting them down 6 and it's go, foot to the floor the whole time. I think they did it the right way. It just didn't work out.
I think also in fairness to Brian a little bit, who we've obviously all said what we want to say about Brian Thomas Jr. with what happened, and the drop is the drop there on that 4th down at the end of the game. I don't think it's fair necessarily given the situation. I can understand a player trying to look to see, I still need to get another yard. Like knowing where he was on the field.
You're turning your head like I'm trying to catch it and make that move in one motion.
I think there is a perception a little bit there of this is the way he's played the whole game, so I think I'm seeing that happen again. I don't know that that's completely fair in that situation.
I don't think it's unfair, though, when it's
not out of bounds
with the game that he had up to that point.
Like
it's
it brings
fair
it in.
To wonder, I believe. Yeah. All right, David, appreciate the call. Good questions there. Dennis and Mayport next on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Dennis. Dennis? Nope, no Dennis?
No Dennis.
All right, how about Darren on the south side, I believe. Darren, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I just wanted to weigh in on BTJ. I think he's hurt. I think he's probably hurt more than he's led on to be. I went back and watched the game last night. Everything except the last drive, I could not bring myself to do it. But I watched the entire game and put it in slow motion on every play and watched BTJ. He totally protected his left hand and was guarding it. And I don't know if the team knows he's as hurt as bad. I think his wrist is hurt a lot worse. It's taped up really heavily and did not notice that or what have you. But you could watch him every time he fell to the ground. He would guard. He would go down with his elbow and not land on his hand. He was very protective of his hand in every play that he played. So I think that's really what's going on. That's my opinion.
All right.
Have a good show, guys.
Well, I mean, Liam Cohen mentioned he had the wrist injury, and I don't think that was I don't think he was trying to make an excuse. I think that's one of those. If Liam Cohen doesn't mention that, right, and you don't have to put him on the injury report if there's 0% chance that he'll miss the game, right? If
he missed no practice.
He missed no practice. There was never a danger of him not playing. That's what the injury report represents, his likelihood of not playing. So there was never a question, right? So they didn't have to have him on the injury report. But let's say Liam Cohen gets up there and doesn't mention this, and the wrist is bothering him, and it's at least a factor. And I don't absolve everything that went on in that game due to a tender wrist, okay?
No.
But if he doesn't mention it, and then he has this conversation with Brian Thomas, Brian's like, Coach, you know I've got a bad wrist. Why are you out there acting like you're clueless why that might not have been a factor? Like, he has to mention that. You know, I think, to be fair to Brian Thomas, like, hey, I don't know if this played a big role. Because clearly, if you listen to what Liam Cohen said, if he thought it was just the wrist, he wouldn't be having to have a conversation with him. He'd be like, all right, that guy's trying to work through an injury. I'm giving him credit for fighting the good fight out here. Instead, it's what's going on. You know, it's got to be different. It's got to be a bounce back. So, all right, got to take a quick time out. We'll come back, continue the conversation on the other side. If you want to get in, 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL brings you the orange and blue.
Touchdown Gators!
Can the Gators tame the Hurricanes and turn the tables in Coral Gables?
Got a hole, and there he goes.
Kickoff at 7:30 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carlion, here from a driver who made the smart move to buying a vehicle from Atlantic Infinity.
Hayes, this is my second Infinity, so I knew exactly what I wanted. And Atlantic Infinity made it so easy for me. The GM, Dwayne, had my new ride ready to go, and I was in and out of the dealership in about 30 minutes. The Atlantic Infinity promise just sealed the deal for me. It's $2,500 in added value, including roadside assistance. I am so happy with my new car.
Atlantic Infinity, Atlantic, near St. John's Bluff.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Wick, a candle bar, is celebrating 6 years. This Friday through Sunday, enjoy 15% off your total purchase at both San Marco and Jax Beach. Come celebrate 6 years at Wick, a candle bar.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 17th, 2004, Giants outfielder Barry Bonds hits career home run number 700 off San Diego Padres pitcher Jake Peavy.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars, to trucks, to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Nothing like a hot shower. Wait, why is the water up to my ankles?
It's the dreaded clogged shower drain. Hair, soap scum, and last week's mystery goo.
It's touching my toes!
Don't panic. Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter. We'll tackle plumbing, septic, and even the nastiest shower clogs. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the duck.
It's the start of our favorite season in Jacksonville, football season. Let's get hyped and let's get the home in tip-top shape and let's get that house zero-resified. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, they'll take care of you. Call the folks at Zero Res right now, 287-5727. Ask for the 1010XL special. Get your 3 rooms of carpet cleaned at $139 plus a 4th room free. Zero Res. Spell it forwards or backwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Johnny O coming up in about 10 minutes, and he'll spend the second hour with us. We'll reflect on what Liam Cohen had to say. Basically, this is what he had to say about BTJ. He knows he's got to be better. He'll get the first opportunity to show that coming up this week, right? And, man, such a big game for this team. I mean, you can argue it's the biggest game of the season and will be the biggest game of the season because it's the one time you get Houston to come here. Now, the Indy games may turn out to be much bigger than we anticipated.
Yeah.
But this is among the ones you know that you need to have if you don't want to have to dig yourself out of some kind of a hole. You lose this one, you almost have to go to Houston and beat them. And it has not been a good track record with the Texans coming to Jacksonville for the Jags over the last decade.
Yeah, it would appear that there is a chance that the season could play out in such a way that the last matchup of the year against Indianapolis this season could be a kind of de facto elimination game.
Absolutely.
You know, with what's happening in the division, you know, at that point, and you could see the path of that kind of thing. This week feels like the season's over if Houston loses. Right? Like from a playoff perspective, the season is pretty much done.
History will tell you that is the case. Now, they go out and win their next 3, then maybe you feel differently.
Right. But you at least have the potential. They would certainly have that thought in their heads. They have to have that thought in their heads coming into this week.
Sure.
We have to have it. Like when we talk about Houston being a desperate team, it's that. Right? It's the 0-2. We can't be 0-3. We can't get anything done that we want to get done at 0-3. That should be their mentality this week. If they get to 0-3, they can try to flip that around to, well, we still have X. We've been in that spot. You know what that feels like, Jaguars. You know exactly what that feeling is. Well, it's just 0-3. We can still get back into it if we do this. We just need everything to go right for us. Don't let anything go right on Sunday for Houston. And they have to play that little mental math. Because I guarantee you coming into this game, they're looking at it saying, our season's on the line.
Sure.
That's the way that they need to
I hope the Jags feel that about their own season. This is home field. There's got to be a new mentality. This has got to be a team that cherishes the opportunity to win at home and protect the bank. And that's what home field advantage is all about, right? Win those games. Win the vast majority of your home games. So I hope the Jags, they don't play desperate. Like they feel like they got to, empty every trick play in the bag or anything like that. I'm just saying I hope they play with that sense of urgency on every snap, realizing how important this is. I'm not saying they didn't against Cincinnati, but it wasn't good enough.
They did it against Carolina.
In the end, it felt like that because of the result.
Yeah.
Right? Cincinnati was a step up in competition.
Yep.
Theoretically, Houston is on that level. Haven't shown it as much in the first couple of weeks.
No.
I think we get Dennis and Mayport ironed out. Dennis, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, please.
Morning, guys. Thanks for pick 2. I got to get rid of AT&T after I get off this phone call.
Uh-oh. All right.
No, we'll be all right. Must win this weekend. I agree. I'll have my BTJ jersey on in section 202. I need him to make a big comeback. We all do, really. But I really hope we run the ball as well as we're doing it. I wanted to ask you about our GM moves. It seems like every week we're making some kind of a modification, and whether you're dropping somebody signing the new safety this morning. Is this what good GMs do? Because I feel like we don't do a lot of that in Jacksonville.
I think.
Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate the call. I do think he's been a little bit more active than most GMs in the league. So is it what good GMs do? Well, I tell you what, one thing bad GMs do is when they see an issue, they sit on their damn hands and go, well, I saw. Now, granted, sometimes you got to show some patience. So it's a fine line, right? Guys will maybe bounce back, but I think it's pretty clear when this team recognizes that we don't care if you're a vet, we don't care what you're making, we don't care, honestly, as long as we got room to operate, what kind of dead salary cap hit we're going to take. If you don't fit, you got to go.
Yeah.
Right? I tried to come up with something that rhymed there, but I couldn't. Gabe Davis was one of the first examples of that, right? No point. You don't want to just leave him there. It doesn't cost you anything to have him around in the offseason. He's not going to be a part of the picture. It's going to take him too long to get healthy, whatever the case may be. Gladstone, let's hope the moves all turn out to be good ones. They probably won't, but he is at least – he's not apathetic. He's active. Right. They have a vision, and they're going out there aggressively trying to implement it. Whether it's the right vision, only time will tell on that. But I like the aggressiveness.
I like how alive it all feels, right? Like week to week in the organization right now. I will say nothing that's been done doesn't match how I felt about this early on. It's really easy to make these it's easier, I should say, to make these kind of decisions about the other guy's guys. It's not his guys he's having to make these decisions about yet. Like at some point, that's going to be part of this. And does he continue to do it this way? Time will tell on that kind of thing. But do I enjoy what he's done to this point? Absolutely.
All right, let's take a time out here. We'll come back. Johnny O will join us in the second hour. We'll take more of your calls on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines if you'd like to get in. Rushing offense, takeaways on defense. If you could lead the league in one, which one's going to lead to more wins for the Jags in 2025? We'll continue to discuss that in hour 2. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for my friends at Dandy Foods. Look, I've been advertising for Dandy, talking about them, tell you how great they are for over a decade, and they are great. Look, I've been eating Dandy products for over 30 years myself. Absolutely delicious with fantastic variety. Even though I could go with the tuna salad wedge every single time. But one thing I probably don't tell you enough about is how fresh Dandy's products are. Delivered fresh daily, never frozen, made fresh, and delivered fresh. That's the difference. You'll see other brands out there, they're more likely just thawed out and called fresh. You can tell it generally in the bread. Dandy's bread, not all dry and crumbly when you open it. It's soft. It's delicious. Nobody wants a dried out sandwich. The Thompson family, they understand that. So when I see that logo with the little guy with the cane, I know I'm going to get a trusted brand and a quality sandwich made with fresh bread, fresh meats, and cheeses. So next time you're out and about, do what I do. Stop into your nearest Dailies and make yours a dandy. And do it today.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. He talks, he listens, he tells stories only a coach could know.
So you can learn more about the science of quarterbacking.
Denny Thompson is the quarterback whisperer, tuned up by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet. Friday mornings on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
On Jaguars Today.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. You're on-road, you're off-road, now you're on the water. Greg, tell everybody what Coach and Honda is offering in the form of boats.
We've got the Honda boat, which is a great runabout fisherman. We've got the Coach boats. They're fantastic for getting out with a family. Nice lay-down beds, all with that legendary Honda motor on them.
Check them all out. They're waiting for you. You can see how you can be on the water with Honda or with Coach pontoon boats. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
This is Nah Lawrence Stample, national champion and owner of NLS Cleaning, your commercial and residential exterior cleaning experts, where we do pressure washing, gutter cleaning, and paver sealing, plus window cleaning, the right way. Football season's back. Let us get your home or business looking its best. Mention this ad and get 20% off your first service. That's right, 20% off, but only through September 30th. Call us at 708-8802. That's 708-8802. NLS Cleaning, championship service every time.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to I-9 Sports with fall and winter registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
Get down to the bank Sunday, September 21st, as your Jaguars face off with division rivals, the Houston Texans. Celebrate Hispanic heritage and witness history as the Jaguars take the field for the first time this season in the legendary Prowler throwback jerseys.
Lock in your seats now for a 1 p.m. kick by visiting Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update. Jaguar receiver Brian Thomas Jr. still struggling to find his rhythm after 2 games. Former Jag Bucky Brooks weighed in on the Frangie Show.
I would say it's just a little off maybe with the confidence. Sometimes that pressure can make you think I need to be doing more.
Meanwhile, when the Gators face Miami, they'll see Heisman favorite Carson Beck out of Mandarin High School. He's currently leading the U's charge. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:01, it's 82 degrees. Time at 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cool with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. It's time for Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Oeser. Oh No's.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
All right, Johnny O in studio with us here for the next hour. And I know you listened to what Liam Cohen had to say this morning, so we'll get into some of that. How are things over at Everbank?
Great.
Miller Electric Center and all that.
Everbank Stadium, Miller Electric Center, getting ready for
Everything's
a home
great.
game.
Is it great, or is it furious and righteous anger that we need to go out and avenge the loss this week, John?
Last week's loss?
Yeah, last week's loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think they want to. I wouldn't call it furious and righteous anger.
No? All right. Well, I'm just trying. I don't want it all be great either, coming off an L.
Well,
I want there to be some level of discontent.
My personal.
Oh, good for you.
I'm fine. Yeah. I'm pushing through. No, I think there's an intensity in knowing that you can't keep losing games. But I think overall they feel like they let one get away. My interpretation of the team is that they're much better than I thought they were going to be coming into the season. That there's a lot of foundation pieces moving forward. And I'm a lot more confident they can win 9-10, get in, than I was before the season because of the running game and because of the way they're creating turnovers. And I feel like the running game and offensive line is something that's going to be sustainable. And I wasn't sure of that coming into the season. I hoped, but I wasn't sure. So
after 2 weeks, you can't complain about the running game, obviously. We'll see, if it holds up over the course of the year and if the offensive line stays healthy and all that. What has surprised you more, the fact that they're leading the league in rushing or the leading the league in turnovers created?
Probably leading the league in rushing. Both are a surprise because they were both so low last year, so you couldn't really predict it. Turnovers, I can't say I expected this. Sometimes turnovers, you get them. After 2 weeks, it's hard to be surprised at a turnover number. You want to, you hope that's consistent over time. It's hard to sustain 3 and 2 a game. So I would say maybe a little more surprised that they're leading the league in rushing and that it looks so sustainable after what we've seen around here for 3 or 4 years. I have been struck by how well organized they are and how good they are at that quickly. Liam Cohen can really coach the running game. It's really impressive.
I'm probably a little more surprised at the turnovers just because they were so bad in that category last year. And you haven't had the sack fumbles, right? Like those are the ones you think, okay, if we're going to lead the league in turnovers for any period of time, Josh Hines, Allen, Trayvon Walker probably knocking the ball loose from some quarterbacks, And it's not that their pressure hasn't led to some of these errant throws and interceptions, but either way, we'll take them both.
Well, I guess I focus on the offensive line. Maybe I'm just thinking about that a little more the last couple of days because that's such a foundation piece. I feel like if they lead the league in rushing or if they're in the top 2 or 3 in rushing, it's going to be hard to keep them out of contending at the end of the season. Turnovers, again, can come and go, can kind of rise and fall. It's hard to know you can count on that because some of that is fortune as well. So,
it is hard to know you can count on it, right? But if at the end of the day, and what we're kind of talking about today, if you could jump ahead and look back at the end of 17 games and you say, hey, we led the league in turnovers created, or we led the league in rushing.
Right.
8 of the top 10 turnover teams, creating teams, made the playoffs last year. 7 of the top 10 rushing teams. Yeah. And you probably were working earlier, we mentioned Indy was top 10 in both. And they didn't make the postseason because they were third in the league in giving the ball away on offense. So they created a bunch and they just turned around and gave it right back to you.
If you combine those two stats and you can't stop the run and you're giving it away all the time, maybe it bounces.
Right, but I mean, it is still striking to see a team that is top 10 in both of those categories and not make the postseason. But every team in the top 10 in either category won at least 8 games last year. So
it's the pathway, and the fact they're doing that is really encouraging. And I feel like on Sunday, if you play that out 10 times, they win, and they play that way, they win 7 or 8, but they lost the one.
Mm-hmm. Along the lines of the conversation about our question of the day, right? The turnovers force versus how well they're running the ball. Mm-hmm. We all had ideas of what Coach Cohen wanted the football team to be going into the season. You've seen it now for 2 weeks. How closely does what they're doing match what you thought they would be able to do here early on in the season?
With what I thought they'd be able to do?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I didn't expect him to be able to lead the league in rushing after 2 games. I thought that would be a work in progress. I thought it would be hard to. I mean, there was just no way to predict that they would be running for as many yards. I think what's significant is how they're getting them. What's really interesting to watch about this offense is, if you remember last year, every yard seemed hard. When they ran on first down, it was 1 yard, and you're like, well, don't even worry about that. You can't do it. This offense gets 3 or 4 on first down and gets itself in 2nd and 6. They get yards when you think the play is stopped, and all of a sudden you look up and they've got 5 yards. So it's impressive the way they run and the way they use it to set up their down and distance for later. Both stats are much better than I thought. I certainly didn't expect them. I thought they'd be middle of the pack in each, only because we watched 4 and 13 last year. It was hard to have high expectations because you just didn't know. And even Liam said before the season, you don't know until you start going and playing. So it's been impressive.
No question. That
said, you lost on Sunday.
Right, exactly. Right. And the big stat last year was 3-10 in 1-score games, and you're 0-1 so far. No matter how you feel about that, I'm sure there were games last year where we're like, damn, we went toe-to-toe with the Eagles, right? And we could have won that game, but all right.
By the time you do it 5 times, you start realizing that's what the team is. And
exactly.
Their task is they can't be that
Don't
team
be that.
That does that.
Exactly.
So that's a very fair. I get why a lot of people aren't seeing it yet because you're 1-1.
I'll be honest. I think a lot of fans, most reaction I've got has been the majority pleasantly surprised or happy.
Okay.
And even though, they're disappointed in the loss.
Have some of those write me.
Well, I see them all over social media and directly interacting with me and others, just saying, hey, you know what? I feel better about this loss than most of the losses I have for the last 10 years. Now, again, you can feel that way, and that's wonderful, and you can feel however you like. And if they don't go out and if they start to stack up these kind of losses, you're going to quickly
and they're a team that can't close.
Change your opinion, right? So, all right, let's look ahead a little bit here. We'll talk about the Darnell Savage move with John coming up, but also other things Liam Cohen had to say at the press conference, including whether Azeez Al-Shaair needs to have his head on a swivel this week when the Texans come to town to play your Jacksonville Jaguars. 641-1010 if you'd like to get in on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Get in the huddle with 1010XL's QB.
All right, guys, let's make a play for 1010XL.
David Garrard joins Mike and Fat Tony on Jaguars Today. Restored by Resto Pros of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
This is Jennifer Marion at Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville, and now's the time to drive away in luxury.
That's right, Jennifer. The $7,500 tax credit ends this month. It's your last month to take advantage of this incredible opportunity.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, drive the all-new electric Optique, Lyric, and Vistique. They are all in stock and ready to drive today.
See all of our inventory at Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.com or visit us on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent you.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family-owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
There's a new story written every Friday night in every hometown in America.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Friday Night Lights.
Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here, telling you about my daughter Amber's journey with Awaken 180. She's lost 60 pounds. Can you believe that? And she just took a road trip. The reason is it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. Call 844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,600 five-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design help us get organized at home. They create custom storage solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Closets by Design will transform clutter into seamless organization. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. But only until September 30th. 18 months financing is available. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Here's what the car insurance companies may think they know after a car crash. They know you probably don't know what your claim is worth, or how to calculate pain and suffering, lost wages and future earnings, current and future medical expenses, or diminished value to your car. But guess what? We do. And if we don't win your case, you owe us nothing. For a fairer fight, you know who to call. Farah and Farah. Jacksonville.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
How'd you get your money so quick?
Hard Rock Bet's got lightning fast withdrawals.
Almost as fast as Dale Jr. valeting cars at this party.
Man, he's fast.
Hard Rock Bet's fast withdrawals have given me new motivation. Tips are appreciated.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, why is it that when you look at how long a store has been in business, that it always seems to be the stores like Underwood's that sell fine quality that have been around the longest?
Frank, that's a question that really doesn't get asked a lot, but it should be. There are a number of reasons, but probably the biggest is because of the endorsements our longtime customers and their pieces of jewelry have given us through the years. You see, when you sell really fine quality jewelry, that piece will last longer and always stay beautiful. It might stay in the same family for generations. And through those years of wear, a lot of compliments will be made and a lot of people will be told where the piece of jewelry came from. You see, at a store like Underwood's, it's our stated goal to be the best jeweler in the South, not the biggest. So everything we do and carry has to help move us toward that goal. And ultimately, it's the satisfied customers wearing fine quality jewelry that have kept Underwood's in Jacksonville since 1928.
Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Oh no's.
Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
Yes. At the end of the day, wish him nothing but the best. And, best just at this time, best for both parties. For him to have a runway to go and get on the grass. And, we wish him nothing but the best.
That's Liam Cohen on the Darnell Savage release. Doesn't really tell you anything. Best for both parties. Well, best for both parties.
But they're really concerned about what's best for them.
I sniff out a little disgruntledness if it's best for both parties. I mean, the Jags were playing him over Antonio Johnson. I'm not saying he was playing great, right? Like PFF had him, I think, at like a 39% pass coverage grade, which is not good, right? So I understand that. But they determined, based on what they've seen in training camp and practice, that he'd be the third safety playing as opposed to Antonio Johnson in these situations. So for them to then reverse course, and the thing with a vet, it's why a lot of vets don't get signed into the second week of the season. Once he's on that opening day roster, you're committed to paying that guy. If he chooses to take, as a vested veteran, you've been in the league for X amount of years, if you get cut, you can take termination pay once in your career, meaning that he can say, all right, I want the rest of my salary for this year from the Jags because he's never been cut in season before. Right. And why wouldn't you do that? Because the chance of you being in a similar circumstance and be able to get paid for 15 games of doing nothing, and then he can go out and double dip. Right, he can go get signed somewhere else and still get paid on top of that. So, it works out really well for Darnell Savage if there's interest in him around the league.
Yeah, and I assume there will be. I had never heard great feedback on him from inside the building once this new regime took over. I hadn't heard a whole lot bad. It was just he was, they talked about other people more. I was a little surprised that he made it through on the 53. I thought he might have been one of the guys released just because sort of draft picks got released at that point. Old regime got released at that point. I thought he might have gotten caught up in that. I wasn't stunned when he got released.
Well, if Ransall was healthy, I don't think he would have made the team. Right?
So I think they probably just looked at it for a couple of weeks and said, you know what? We want something different here.
In fact, we were doing our projections, Tony, and we're not experts on getting the last couple spots right. It's a guessing game. I mean, you try to go on what available evidence you have, but we did not have Savage making this team until the news of Ransall going on IR.
And I think that was an if-then scenario.
Yeah. All right, well, he's gone. Welcome to the new guy, Khalif, coming in from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And
all I know is he was on the Vikings practice squad.
He was on. That's what I know as well. And it's pronounced Khalif, not Khalef, even though it's spelled L-E-F. So
and
I learned that this morning.
I do know. All I heard all training camp was how well Antonio was doing, and they wanted him in sort of a big nickel type of role. I haven't really asked about it since this transaction happened. Be interesting to see if he plays a little bit more of a role than just the big nickel.
I would think Monteric Brown getting healthier as well factors into this, right? You got another option in the secondary that you can count on here. Yeah. So get a little all that going on. All right, let's hear a few thoughts from Liam Cohen this morning. Just how did the conversation go with Brian Thomas Jr.?
Just like anybody on this team, nobody was pleased with the outcome, right? And we had some good conversations, really good conversations. And everybody was frustrated. But at the end of the day, he's got a great opportunity to bounce back, as does the rest of our team, and feel really confident about that.
Somebody brought up earlier that they really think, because Liam Cohen brought up the wrist injury, right? And I'm sure he has a wrist issue, right? He's got the wrist wrapped and all that they watched it again and thought that he was really favoring it. That may be the case. But if it were just that, I don't think Liam Cohen, like on Monday, said, we're going to have, conversation. Like, it's clear it went beyond
Felt like
just
it did.
The wrist.
Yeah. I mean,
the eyeball test said it did. Anyway.
That's exactly right. And I struggled with this all week because it's hard to get in somebody's head and know the whys, right? I'm sure you guys have wrestled with it too. But you watch a lot of football and you don't see that to that degree very often. And the play in the end zone, we talked about during the break, Mike, the play in the end zone that cost him a touchdown didn't look like a upcoming violent collision. It just looked like he was looking around. So it goes without saying that can't be how you play wide receiver in this league. So
especially when you're the guy who coming off the year that he had, and you're such a focal point of what they want to get accomplished.
Right.
You just saw the guys on the other side. Right, there's a reason that the entire league talks about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins the way they do. And you saw those plays. Doesn't matter who's around them. Doesn't matter how many guys are about to crush them. Doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't affect the way that they finish a play at all. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is a player that can play at that kind of level. Unfortunately, that didn't show up on Sunday. And for a guy that they're counting on as much as they appear to want to count on him, right? Like, you do have to sit down and have a conversation with a player that you think is supposed to be one of, if not your best player. What's going on with that guy. How do we get you back in line with what we need you to be?
Well, you got the running game going,
Yeah.
and if you had a receiver who was playing like a true one, you'd really have something going on offense. Right now, you've got a receiver who's not playing like a true one, and you've got De'Ami Brown also dropping a couple. If you can get that going, then you got balance. Right now, they have a running game, and I would think a quarterback who, isn't playing perfectly, but I thought he did some decent things. Now he's got to figure out who he trusts in the wide receiver core.
Right. I do think De'Ami Brown has made more plays than not, right? Like he's come through it, but it was such a glaring drop. I mean, you got to throw that ball. You got to throw it.
Probably
you can't
ends the
not
game.
trust that guy in that circumstance.
No, it's a play they had repped. They had it dialed up. Situation was right for it.
Couldn't have handed it to him any better.
Right. And that's why coaches, I don't think Liam said it after that one, but that's why coaches say you can coach him. At some point, you got to go do it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, let's skip ahead here to cut 4, Dylan, as we'll leave the BTJ conversation to be what it is. Obviously, it's a big factor in what they need to get done. But Travis Hunter, so far through 2 games, has played 61% of the snaps on offense, 37% on defense. And a number of Jaguars have played more snaps. They just haven't played them on both sides of the ball so far. So here was Liam Cohen earlier today about balancing out the work that they are giving Hunter to prepare and how much time he's getting on the field.
I think so. I think we were very intentional last week specifically about some of the volume and mileage that we were looking at deploying, and it showed up on Sunday. There's definitely things to clean up about that in terms of detailing the preparation and making sure that all the formations, all the alignments, but we can help them too and maybe simplify some of that stuff as well for them. But very happy with where things were last week in terms of our organization with him, his preparation, and we kind of continue to do that this week as we continue to just evaluate how many snaps and what it's going to look like each week.
Think of this, right? I mean, Travis Hunter, what he's done is what he's done, and it's been minimally impactful for the most part, right? I mean, he hasn't been the biggest star on either side of the ball yet, but if Trevor doesn't underthrow that ball in week 1,
monster,
and he's got the huge touchdown, and if Trevor doesn't underthrow the ball, and I understand the pressure and all that because we've talked about it, but the one that got picked off in the end zone this week,
right? If that play gets blocked,
and then if they don't throw the pass interference flag, he has now caught a touchdown each game, and he saved the game with a defensive play. I mean, it's that close to the narrative being like Travis Hunter budding superstar as opposed to Travis Hunter. Wonder when he's going to get going.
Right? Yeah, and that's sort of the nature of the positions that he's playing too. Running back would have more opportunity if he was playing that every time. DB and wide receiver, you've got to take your opportunities when they come.
Could you imagine if we drafted a running back who
also played middle linebacker?
Well, no, or I'm just a specific running back who decided to, after whiffing on his block on a pass protection drill, just to run backwards and stand there and then watch. Did you see what Ashton Genty did on Monday night? It was like, bro, I don't know if he'll ever play a third down. I mean,
he was picking up a rusher and he got shoved backwards.
Got blown
when
out.
he got there, he just stood around
there, and watched there. And the play continued on for like 3 more seconds, which is like an eternity.
Yeah.
When a quarterback's under pressure in the pocket, and it was eventually his guy who circled back around and sacked Geno Smith, and Genty had a great look at it though. So there.
Oh, so is this
was that?
Can you break it down?
I mean, he had a front row seat.
It was not a great look.
It was not
for Genty early on in his NFL career. One more here from Coach. We all know Jaguars fans have number 0 in a Houston jersey, certainly circled coming into the game this week in Azeez Al-Shaair. We're all waiting to see what the reaction's going to be from the team, all these different kind of things. Head coach was asked about it, and he was asked specifically along the lines of Trevor, who took the shot on that play, suffered the concussion, all that went on with that play. How does he expect or should Trevor and the team respond to Al-Shaair this week?
The way that he can show that he's, continuing to respond is in his preparation, in the way that he's surgical, with his footwork, with his reads, like playing the position at a high level and continuing to get better week in and week out, mastering their defensive scheme, knowing what's going to happen, using the formations and motions to be able to undress the defense, like being and playing the quarterback position at a high level and being a surgeon is how he can, if he feels that way. He hasn't brought it up or anything like that. So I just think, continuing to focus on him, on us, on our guys, on our execution, that's how you ultimately respond to anything.
Look, what do you think?
That's what I would expect him to say publicly.
Right? I mean, he's not going to get up there and go, Trevor, if he comes through, we're going to let him come through on block so he can fire one in the old groin at him.
Yeah, like remember the Titans.
It's the longest yard or whatever we got happening here. So, no, I don't think that is the case. Trevor shouldn't, I mean, what is he going to do? He's not going to physically intimidate a linebacker, right? And now, I will say this. I would hope that, not to the point of picking up their own penalties, but I hope that every player that's on the field with Trevor Lawrence understands what went down, whether you were here last year or not, and you need to let it be known that that kind of crap is unacceptable, right? That if there's anything close that you're getting up in somebody's face, even if it's a legit play, you sack our quarterback, if you don't get up with the speed that I require, I'm regulating if I'm that offensive line, if I'm Brenton Strange. And Brenton Strange was right there at the forefront of it last year, so I don't doubt he'll have his back.
The way he plays, whether it would be Alshire or anybody who's going to finish the play, I think he won't be unaware when it's 0, right? That he's dealing with on a given play.
You get your revenge. You scheme one up so that he is like the free guy that Brenton Strange has a head of steam that's the spin cycle right there. You don't want to go against Brenton Strange right now. He will body you, but look, you can't get too caught up in the revenge narrative. No. Fans can, media, we can talk about it all we want.
Let it happen naturally in the game.
It's there for players. They're going to talk about it, but if all you're talking about going into that game is doing student body right at 0.
I'm not talking about that the whole game. I'm waiting until we're up by 3 scores in the fourth quarter. Then we're going student body right at that.
I do think, though, this is a game where even if that play hadn't happened last year, the Texans are a team that thinks they're the bully on the block.
Guess what? They have been.
Right. If they put, meaning physically and playing that way, I would anticipate. I keep saying it this week. If the Texans push, I anticipate under Liam Cohen this team pushing back.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about what the big advantage the Jags may have this week going into that game is when we return here in a moment. Got our 10-10 take coming up. Tony will take us around the league. Our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day is a simple one-click either-or option. If the Jags could lead the NFL in one of these categories for the entire year, which one would lead to more victories? Is it rushing yards or defensive takeaways? Cast your vote at MD_1010XL on the X platform if you choose. John Oeser is in with us. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. This year's playoff road rides through the 904. Last season's AFC South champs take their first shot at Trevor and the playoff-hungry team in teal. It's back at the bank for a big one against a division rival. Jaguars, Texans, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010 XL.
Try the Cowboy.
This is your escape. This is your next adventure. This is Mazda, and this is Mazda at the Avenues. Lauren Brooks here. Right now, purchase any new Mazda model, and Mazda at the Avenues will match your down payment or your payments for 1 full year. Plus, every new Mazda comes with 3 years, 36,000 miles of maintenance at no additional charge to you. This is luxury, and this is the start of something new. This is Mazda at the Avenues. For complete details, call 904-430-8047.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
You've got a circle of friends, right? Well, how about a circle of beer? All your favorites like Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Mick Ultra, or Natty Light. It's all there in the cold case at Circle K. Probably one right around the corner right now calling your name. Slide on in to a Circle K.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming over so quick.
Sure thing, pal. What's the big... Whoa!
See, I told you there was a smell.
Yeah, it smells like...
Exactly, or a dead one more like it.
You need some fresh air in here.
Well, this is the problem, Jason. I've kept everything sealed up tight all summer long so I don't lose all my nice cool air. Now all the dog smells and cooking smells and home gymnasium man cave smells are all building up and I can barely...
Dude, where are the Bueller sunglasses I gave you?
Oh, I don't know. They must be in my other...
Put on my emergency pair. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can install an air purification add-on to your existing air conditioner. Clean the air of dust and pollen and funky smells while you cool.
So I can keep all the cool air I saved up?
And your place won't smell like a dead...
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, it's Rick Ballou. I just upgraded my home with fantastic floors, and the experience was incredible. Rusty and the team brought the showroom to me with their at-home consultation. The whole process was simple, the installation was top-notch, and the results, absolutely fantastic. Take it from me. Don't wait. Visit fanfloors.com and schedule your at-home consultation today. Fantastic Floors, where every step is fantastic. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Any good lineup needs power. When we needed power at the Bregan Baseball Complex and all the fields we have at Fort Family Park, we trusted Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. Call my friend Zach today at 904-320-5960. You can also find them on Facebook and at ricketteselectric.com. Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 904-320-5960.
This football season, Hurricane Grill and Wings is your game day getaway. Catch every play with the perfect drink in hand. Handcrafted cocktails like the Millionaire Margarita, Spicy Guavarita, Old Fashioned, or the Red Bullerita. Beer more your style to watch the games? Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Game day cocktails and Bud Light specials are here all season long at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find a restaurant near you at hurricanewings.com.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Oh noes.
Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
All right, curious to see where you guys stand on this as our question of the day. Looking at a couple of categories that after 2 weeks, the Jags have excelled in. They lead the league in rushing yards. They lead the league in defensive takeaways. Unfortunately, it hasn't led to a 2-0 record, but 1-1 nonetheless. If the Jags could lead the NFL in one of these for the entire year, which would lead to more victories? Why don't we discuss in today's 10-10 Take?
10-10 Take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 Take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
You know, this is one where I'm going to kind of vote against the science because I think the stats will show you that turnover differential or creating turnovers is more in line with success and winning football games than is just rushing offense. Anecdotally, last year, 8 out of 10 of the top 10 made the playoffs there compared to 7 out of the 10 leading rushing teams. That's a small sample size, but nevertheless, I feel for this team, based on how they want to operate, that with Liam Cohen coming in, he took the Bucs from a bottom dweller in rushing to, I think, 4th in the league last year. If this team could lead the league in rushing, it's getting a lot of production early from Travis Etienne, Bajal Tutin, but it's also putting themselves in position to close out games. That the rushing itself might not lead to the win, but it's indicative of you're playing from ahead a lot more. Look, I'll take the takeaways as well. Don't get me wrong. And, as we saw last year, Indianapolis top 10 in both. Didn't guarantee them making the postseason. They went 8-9. That's because they gave it away even more than they took it away last year. But I think they're both hugely vital. I'm going against the flow here, but I'm going to go rushing, leading the team or leading the league in rushing yards for me would be my choice. What about you, John?
Yeah, I would go that way for the same reasons pretty much. It's what this team wants to be, the physicality that shows up in the running game on offense. It's what Liam wants. It's what they want their identity to be. So I would go rushing 100% because you asked me to pick one. I mean, turnovers would be great too.
Right.
Can they lead the league in rushing and finish second in turnovers?
Or lead the league in both.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd feel really good about our chances, Tone. What did you vote for here, Tony?
I would like a lot of turnovers so they don't have a lot of field to rush.
Okay. That works too.
Like that kind of thing. I think it is kind of, it's a 50-50 call, on this kind of thing as to which you'd prefer. If I had to pick one or the other, I would lean towards the turnover number. I would say, too, as part of the conversation here, they've been in the red zone a ton these first 2 weeks. Now, there were reasons why the red zone numbers wound up what they were against Carolina. It was the timing of when they got in, different things like, right, if they got to the 19-yard line on a third down, right, that would be technically a red zone appearance. So you kick the field goal and it goes to that kind of number. Last week against Cincinnati, it was a little bit more. Typically, when you see the numbers they had in the red zone, it's, they weren't as efficient as they needed to be in that part of the field. And I think part of that was they had the series that we've talked about a lot coming out of the Bengals game where they threw on first down they got to the 9, right? And then they threw on second down, and it was, Diami dropped the ball, right? So you can't be mad at the play call necessarily. The play call worked in that kind of situation. But I do think if we're talking about what they want it to be, I wonder at what point in this season when they get to that part of the field, does their run game take over the options of what they want to do in the offense? Because we haven't seen that yet. I think they've done a lot of really good things in the run game that, as you said, John, it's kind of a surprise that they've been as good at it as they have been, but they haven't, in those moments, red zone, goal line, they haven't shown that yet, that when they want to run in that part of the field, they're going to run. They've screened it up, and they've been effective doing that, and that's technically kind of half run game anyway. But they haven't exactly been a straight running team in that part of the field.
Yeah, if they can get where they are, a straight running team in that part of the field, that's really impressive because that's hard. That's harder than between the 20s. So sometimes you do have to pass out of that some because it's hard to get to the 9-yard line and run 3 times and get in. But it's what they want to be. So at some point they're going to see if that's what they are.
I think the glaring one that stands out to people is the 3rd and 2, obviously, where Trevor took the shot down the field. And we don't know because, Liam Cohen has said that Trevor's switched out of some run plays and audible. And you want your quarterback to have some of that ability to react to what he's seeing out there. But that seemed
was a funny one when it happened.
Right. That seemed like one where it was just like there's got to be a code word for no matter what look you see, this is what we're doing. Right? We're going to run it right down their throat a couple of times because if you want to be that team, I would have been surprised with the success that they've had early if they weren't able to get that at that point in time with 2 opportunities to pick it up.
Yeah.
But
I disagree.
So what'd you make of Bajal Tutin, John, with Bigsby gone and
they traded Tank for a reason, and a lot of it was because Tutin needed to play. And he, all through training camp, all you heard around the building was this kid's going to be a star. And I think it speaks to how well Travis Etienne's playing that Tutin's not already starting because they like him that much, and he's shown that level. And I think Liam mentioned it in the presser, the screen really should have been a 3-yard gain. And he turned it into a 15, 18-yard, whatever it was,
right.
Screen down their sideline. It showed right there the balance he has, and once he gets through a tackle, he can take off. So he's sounds like he's going to be a star at this point. I mean, not for this team very soon.
Was the touchdown that he scored on that screen, was it designed for all the offensive linemen to go right and him go left?
Yeah,
on
that
the
I'm
catch?
not sure of. I know he put a move on the linebacker.
People were debating that online. Did they run the play to the wrong side? But
it all worked.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Missability.
Keep making that mistake. All right, let's take a look at what's happening with the other 31 teams in the NFL.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach.
Houston head coach DeMeco Ryans said that wide receivers Christian Kirk and Braxton Berrios both have a chance to make their 2025 season debuts this week here in Jacksonville. Buffalo defensive tackle Ed Oliver and linebacker Matt Milano both have been held out of practice both Monday and Tuesday as the Bills get ready for a Thursday night game this week against Miami. Minnesota has signed quarterback Desmond Ridder to their 53-man roster. J.J. McCarthy's availability for this week has been described as uncertain by the team. Pittsburgh has ruled out linebacker Alex Highsmith due to a high ankle sprain for this week, but they are not going to place Highsmith on their short-term injured reserve.
All right, thank you, Tony. That's what's happening around the rest of the NFL right now. We got one segment to go with John Oeser, so we'll get some final thoughts and take a look at where you're voting on today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day as well. Rushing game or a takeaway-prone defense, which would you prefer for the Jaguars? They've been both through 2 weeks. If they were to sustain it all season long, which one would lead to more victories? We'll discuss some final thoughts on that when we continue on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Join Jim Furyk and other legends of the PGA Tour for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, October 3rd through 5th at Timuquana Country Club. Catch the new community concert series on the 17th hole after play, featuring country artists Low Cash and Love and Theft. Public parking is free with complimentary tournament access for military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Get tickets now for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, starting at just $25 at Ticketmaster.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Fall is here. The air is crisp. Football is on, and the perfect backyard atmosphere starts with a high-quality fireplace from CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Hey, it's Joe C. Imagine nights by the fire, cheering on your team, surrounded by friends and family. CSS can transform your outdoor space into the ultimate game day destination. Stylish, warm, and built for memories. With several wood, gas, and electric options, let CSS make your backyard the best seat in the house. Visit CSSFireplaces.com.
Yo, it's your main man, E to the T here with a quick message from Twin Peaks. Did you know that Thursday, September 18th is National Cheeseburger Day? Let's celebrate with a seasoned smash and seared to-order cheeseburger, topped with your choice of cheese, and pair it with a 22-ounce Coors Light or Miller Lite all day long. Not in a drinking mood? Grab a cheeseburger and pair it with a tea or a soda. Say hello to one of our favorite holidays at Twin Peaks on Atlantic and Kernan. Twin Peaks. Eat, drink, scenic views. Come on, somebody.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $3,600 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Prosser here again for Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts you can trust. You might think you have a struggle ahead, but Chad and Sandy always have a solution, and ultimately it ends in a success story. Jacksonville area homes are selling, but getting the right price requires aggressive marketing and proven systems. Hiring the experts who know how to create demand is crucial. You need Chad and Sandy Newman. Need to sell now? Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, stress-free. But, man, they deliver with the promises. The local real estate experts you can trust. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Oh, and the proof is out there. Tom and Nicole in Mandarin. I got a new job in Louisiana. We found a new home. Now we'd have to sell fast to avoid paying 2 mortgages. Chad and Sandy did it. Use them today. ChadAndSandy.com. That's ChadAndSandy.com.
Jacksonville, it's football season, and Duck Duck Rooter is proud to be on your home team. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, we tackle plumbing, septic, and air conditioning problems with championship-level service. Call 904-862-6769 or visit DuckDuckRooter.com.
Have you ever dreamed of owning a handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm? Well, now you can. This is Frank Frangie for the farm in Okefenokee, just an hour north of Jacksonville in Folkestone. With only 250 cabins at full build-out, it's a rare chance to live off-grid, but not alone, in a community grounded in nature, food, and purpose. The amenities include a 2,300-acre hunting lease. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, coming down the stretch here on Jaguars Today. John Oeser in for a few more minutes as we get ready to close up shop for this Wednesday. Mike DeRocco in tomorrow. John, if you're hungry tomorrow, stop by. Tony's buying breakfast.
Yes, sir.
Is he? Okay.
For everybody at the station.
So D-Rock hasn't bought this year?
Well, not this year. No, he bought
every
week
week
one.
last year?
Yeah.
He bought week one because he was last year's biggest loser overall. But
you could just say biggest loser overall.
yeah, all right, whatever. But yeah, Tony was miserable, and because
really
when the Jags lose, we don't like to focus on that silliness that much early in the week. So Tony's escaped scrutiny for his.
I imagine
showing.
tomorrow I will not. It was a really
33
bad week.
points out of 5 guys is like,
You almost have to try.
It's like picking names out of a hat of retired players. Will get you 33, rough. You would think. So, all right. Anyway, Tony's buying tomorrow, so do swing by if you're hungry.
I'm so inclined.
If you are so inclined. All right. About 57%, 42%, 57.5%, 42.5%. On the poll right now, over 200 votes on this. People leaning towards defensive takeaways. Again, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to be unhappy about a takeaway-prone defense. And a couple of those, 2 of those 3 were room service balls thrown right to them this week. But part of it is pressure that's created. Oh, by the way, it's a backup quarterback in there. Well, you knocked the starter out, right? I mean, you injured it.
Right.
More so than Tom McManus was calling for, Tony. He just said for the day. I didn't say for the next 3 months, but whatever the case. We'd let Burrow play in week 3 if we could have the W. Gladly.
Sure. Easily.
Yeah, you don't want to knock it. Yeah.
John, we were talking about Bajal Tootin last segment. Travis Etienne, Devin Lloyd gets the interception. Etienne goes in there. And I get he had a guy right in his face, right? And Jeff Logman felt like the play was supposed to bounce to the outside anyway, but I felt like in that instance, like circumstances and what you're trying to get done, Etienne was best served just putting his head down and trying to get as much as he could, right? And he tried to outrace the whole team and kept going backwards and ended up losing 4 yards.
He's gotten so much better. Travis has gotten so much better at staying between the tackles that I was surprised he did that. But yeah, Tootin between the tackles is more, I don't know, compared to Maurice, because Maurice was, so special as a bowling ball type runner. But Tootin has some of those qualities.
He has some of that. I think, though, the feet are so quick that he is as much Now, when there's all that traffic, you can't make guys miss necessarily, but I think he's as much a make you miss guy as he is a strong contact balance guy.
And what's striking and why there's such optimism about him, you just mentioned two things and didn't even mention the fact that he was the fastest running back at the combine.
Sure.
So, I mean,
all the speed's there.
If you combine that with speed, again, I think you saw the screen pass.
Right. Now, if Etienne continues to average 6 yards carry, whatever, his role is not going anywhere, right? But, this is a great internal motivator for you. I think most people looked at Etienne and he saw the draft picks spent, all the talk, and he dedicated himself to coming in here and taking advantage of his opportunities. It wasn't like, oh, man, they didn't give me a contract, I'm going to mope. He's like, no, I got to play for my next contract.
Yeah, he's been impressive. One thing I think it's hard for fans to know because they don't talk to these guys. Etienne's as professional, as mature, especially since his rookie year. His growth has been remarkable, and that growth, I think, is why he's been able to take the approach that he's taken this season, and it's why they like him so much. I don't think they knew what they were getting when they got here with him, and he's been one of their most pleasant surprises.
D'Amico said already this week that the Jags offense, similar to what they faced the first 2 weeks in Houston. Coach talked about it a little bit today at the press conference as well. What kind of impact do you think that could have on the game this week?
Well, Liam discussed it a little bit in his presser. It certainly helps both teams have a base from which to prepare as they get started. I don't know, once the game gets going, how much is the fact that the Texans have already played this kind of an offense? I'm not sure how much that affects things because you still only got 2 weeks worth of tape and tendencies. So I think it's still pretty young to have a book on a team, but it certainly helps in preparation.
I found this one interesting as we get ready to welcome in XL Primetime. Somebody's response to the question of the day was 2017 is a great example of takeaways being more important. Which team led the NFL in rushing in 2017? Would you like to guess? That would be the Jaguars. Yeah. So
they did pretty well in both.
I think they did just fine rushing the football in 2017. So I don't know if that one proves your point as much as you think. Again, takeaways super important. Nobody's saying they're not. Yeah. But
one of the numbers was obviously Sticker in that guy.
I don't know if they led the league in takeaways either. I'm gonna look here and see if I can find it quickly. But they did lead the league in rushing. They were second in takeaways, by 1 to Baltimore. So led the league in rushing.
Try again.
Try again. Go back and
do over.
Google's your look. They're both important. Yeah. Again, 57% think that takeaways are the way to go. All right, let's welcome in XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Big Sirs. Good
gentlemen, how you doing?
We're very
Johnny O, what's up, baby?
Ask Leon the question.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to ask Leon the question. Thank you very much. We asked today. Jags lead the league in rushing currently through 2 weeks. Also lead the league in takeaways on defense, right? If you could do one for the whole year, what one's going to lead to more wins?
Rushing. I'm a lineman, of course.
Right. Well, all right.
Was that a trick question?
No,
y'all knew I was going to say lineman.
No, but in all seriousness, they're both pretty big bellwether stats.
They are. Listen, but I think rushing the ball is a tempo setter for your offense. I always said that Trevor's best friend will be a running game. It gives us the ability to play action and keeps them from having 8 and 9 in the box or whatever. So a rushing game, I would take that all day.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you, by the way. I agree with you. No. I agree. I'm smart enough to know who's about to sit down next to me, Leon. What's coming up on Primetime today?
Well, we got Jags, we got a little college football, and then we got Shannon Snell coming on at 1.
All right. We'll be listening. Have a great show.
You got it.
As always, and let's bounce back with a dub this week against the Houston Texans. John, what do you have coming up at Jaguars.com?
I will have Robert Hainsey on the Ozone podcast, and I guess he would also say running game.
I would think so. Maybe not. Maybe a surprise. Yeah. Maybe he's got a
team player. Yeah.
Got a big overall, 10,000-foot view.
Maybe.
Maybe.
And Bucky Brooks on the Huddle Up podcast this today at 4:00 on Jaguars.com.
All right, we'll talk to you Sunday. See you
Look
out
forward
there.
to it, guys.
I won't see you out there because we're sequestered.
We'll speak though.
Miller Electric Center. We will speak. on Sunday. All right, coming up. Thanks to John Oeser, for Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. D-Rock in tomorrow as we march towards week 3. This has been Jaguars Today. Stick around for XL Primetime on 1010 XL and 92.5.